It's Radio Free 501c, the podcast of Rogue Tulips Consulting. I'm your host, Cecilia Sapp, and we're so excited to be back for Season 6 and continue bringing you outstanding ideas and thought leaders and different ways of thinking. So don't forget to subscribe because you're not going to want to miss any of it. This week I'm joined by returning guest Sandra Nam, and she's here to talk about something really exciting, an update on Association Marketplace. You don't want to miss this one. It's an exciting place to be. It's October 28th, 2024. Welcome to episode 260. Hey everybody, it's Monday, October 28th. That's almost Halloween, so I hope nothing scary is going on in your life. But it's time for Radio Free 501c. I'm your host, Cecilia Sepp. I'm the principal and founder of Rogue Tulips Consulting. I'm a CAE and an ACNP, and I can't tell you how happy we are that you're here this week with returning guest Sandra Nam. But before we jump into our topic, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to our global audience, wherever you may be, and thanks again for being here. Also, quick reminder, if you haven't followed us or subscribed yet on your favorite podcast service, please do so you don't miss any future episodes. As I mentioned, we have a returning guest this week, Sandra Nam from Qiqo. She's here to give us an update on Association Marketplace, which they introduced to us last November in 2023. Sandra, welcome back to the podcast. Would you like to say hello and tell us a little more about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Cecilia. It's great to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm Sandra Nam. I'm CEO and co-founder of Qiqo, and Qiqo stands for Quality In, Quality Out. That's how we design all of our technology. And I'm very excited to share with you some updates on the association marketplace, where it's going, how we've improved the platform, who it's for, and just some fun stuff and where it's going. So that's a little bit about me and excited to be here.
Yeah, oh, that's great. And I am a user of Association Marketplace. I'm trying to be more of a user of Association Marketplace. I am lucky. I've been aware of it pretty much since it launched. And I remember talking with you and Lucas about what some elements of that might be and helping you understand a little bit about who the market might be for it. So, could you tell us, Sandra, where you and Lucas got the idea for Association Marketplace?
Oh, yeah. Well, essentially, we started off as an online event and conference platform. We were a Zoom API partner from the days of, the pandemic when online conferences and events were essential to everyone's needs at the time. And so we often got the question or the ask, can you do a trade show? Can you get all these sponsors and these industry partners and consultants and vendors online in a way that feels like an annual conference when you have the expo hall or the exhibit hall? And so that question, that challenge was always on top of our minds. And then we successfully did that through several types of events where we would have all of these Zoom rooms together and essentially allow folks to meet each other live, just like they would at an in-person trade show. And so when we were doing that more often, we realized, well, how can we make this rich and how can we make this content full throughout the year, throughout the rest of the days that you're not in the at the event or that you're not at the trade show? And so what we developed was a content management system, essentially an industry-wide content management system that allows for everyone to plug in like a community platform,
Mhm.
but you can do more than just see what's going on with news, who's got their blogs that are being posted, podcasts within an industry, what are all the live feeds that are happening, and in addition have events like live open office hours or a structured event. So we took the best of and put it all together on the platform and really focused on how do people want to connect and engage these days, both online and in person, and ways to see a calendar of events, to see, what's trending in terms of who's clicking on which articles. So, we focus on all the user behavior that people want to access and get in touch with each other.
And I have to say, I really enjoy the platform, and I've seen it has come a long way. I think one of the benefits of it is being able to find so many blogs in one place and finding so many podcasts in one place, because it's kind of hard to find them sometimes if you're looking around by yourself. So This one advance in the platform. Have you made any other changes since last year that would be of interest?
Yeah, so we started pulling the podcast, right? We figured, just like being on this podcast, people want to know who's doing creating a podcast, who's publishing episodes. So we realized, have a way for all the best of podcasts and also jobs. Who's got a job board and where can we aggregate and basically pull them all in from different sources so you have one place to look at them all. So we've got the jobs stream, we've got the podcast stream, and we also have a recommendation stream. Oftentimes folks are looking for recommendations on how do I, where's the consultant that I can find who's going to focus on non-dues revenue, or specifically for sponsorship and partnerships, or what platforms out there can provide me with a new AMS. There's always folks shopping for new AMSs and they want to compare and contrast. So it's a way to recommend to each other within the community what platforms to use, or who's using what, or how do they use it, etc.
And that's really, and that's another interesting aspect of it is really in the calendar. I have to say, the calendar is chock full of things, and you will find so much information at this platform. So we're talking about this platform. Okay, so I say I use it. There's other people on it. Who can have a page on Association Marketplace?
Well, I would say anybody who's got a business, whether it be a technology business or a solopreneur business or a small team that provides products and or services. So that's primarily what it is. The business directory, so you can sign up and create your own account and then basically start promoting what you're doing. But we also realized in the process that small organizations want to use it as well. Like we just partnered up with SALA, the Small Association Leadership Alliance, and they are actually an association for the small staff associations, and they want to have presence too. And others who are similar, or other organizations, maybe like a small meetup group, they want to have presence because they're a part of the fabric of the association community, and we're trying to give voice in the community space for folks to be present.
Well, and can any association or other type of nonprofit have a page?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have the ability for any nonprofit organization who wants to have a page in front, be present in front of the association community. Absolutely, everyone's welcome to create an account, start marketing what they're doing, and plug in.
Well, what do you think sets Association Marketplace apart from other online buyer guides? Because some people might look at this and say, "Oh, well, this is like a buyer guide," but I think it's a little more than that. How would you say it's different?
Yeah, so we thought, in looking and doing our research about what is the next iteration of a buyer's guide. The best part of a buyer's guide is knowing that there's all of this, these are the resources, these are the tools, or these are the companies that you want to kind of do some research on. But that's the limit, right? It's essentially a glorified list or a yellow pages.
Mhm.
But now we figured, people want more. They want to do research. They want to learn more about that company before actually reaching out. They also want to see who has endorsed this company, from the community, not just, oh, let me get a sales pitch from that company themselves, but who has endorsed them. So we allow for that relationship of an endorsement of a product or a service from a company to be visible in connection with their company profile. So you can see endorsements, you can see, what events they're doing. So all this other content that a company is pushing out there into the world, that is a way that amplifies and makes more interactive what work that they're doing, so that it's more than just a business directory. It's essentially an interactive way to engage and check them out beforehand.
And I think that's the word to focus on is interactive. It really does have a sense of energy and activity and community. It's still building, so it's kind of a small community right now, but it's getting there. It's getting bigger every day. And that's one of the things I have noticed is it really is like walking into like your local farmers market. There's so much going on, so much opportunity, so many ways to connect with people. And one of the things I would like you to talk about a little bit more for the audience is how people can have events through Association Marketplace, and they can even do office hours.
Sure. So there's two ways. One is you can plug directly into the event calendar system, either, one-off event, you want to create an event or add an event to the main calendar, folks can do that. One step up above that is if you are a company within the marketplace, you can, talk to us and we're happy to essentially integrate your existing event calendar so that it automatically gets rolled up into the association marketplace's calendar. So that's one aspect. Then we have, because we're an event platform as well, we have the ability for live open office hours. So if you wanted to say host, Cecilia, like every Tuesday morning, you want to host open office hours, you just put that in, you just basically say you're live online and folks can see, oh, Cecilia's there, she's going to do open office hours on whatever topic this week, or every week it's just simply drop in, say hello, ask a question or two, and just get to be able to kind of walk through your door as if it's a brick and mortar shop. So those are the two ways that you can be a part of the event system, in the calendar and also through open office hours.
And I love that. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's a great idea. Is Association Marketplace a platform that an association might be able to implement for their members and for their buyer guide?
Yes, and thanks for asking that question. So, we launched the Association Marketplace, which is at associationmarketplace.ai, and that's open for everybody. It's the first and only public open network for the association community. So anybody can join, anybody can be a part of it to just browse and peruse. But that's meant to be and designed to be like this shining example of, oh, an association wants to now create their own platform, their own association marketplace, and white label it for themselves. That's exactly what we're hoping to do.
And I think it's an excellent option for people to check out. Not that this is an infomercial, but I have used the platform. I do like it. I think it's a lot of potential. And speaking of potential, Sandra, what do you see in the future for Association Marketplace?
I see a hub. I see a community hub that is more than just a knowledge hub. It's not just a repository or a library. It's a way to access what's going on in the community, to feel a part of the community, to get to know a community. Folks are, basically swimming in and out of new industries all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a new way to access an industry that's not gated. I know that a lot of associations and nonprofits are always looking for new members. How can we find ways for member engagement? That's one, but also how do we attract new members, or how do we attract more folks that are affiliated with an industry? And so it's like a new way to find an association's offerings, but also the community itself, and bring new members. I think it's just a new hub for associations, and a way to engage both existing members, new members, and their entire ecosystem of industry partners and vendors and companies that help support the vibrancy of that ecosystem. And you want to be a part of the buzz. And I feel like one way to be a part of the buzz is knowing what's going on, who's producing content, and the work that is being, that is of that association. And then two, who's in there. So I think that that's the next level. It's similar to, the vibes on LinkedIn. You go there to see like what's going on, who's posting what. But that's just sort of this, massive global environment where here you kind of want to know who's in your industry, who's talking about stuff, who's the expert, what are the new innovations that are happening, what are the new trends. And so feeling immersed in the network is really where we see things are going. And that's why we designed the association marketplace to be an example of where technology is headed.
I love that. I had not even thought about the aspects of membership engagement because, coming at it as a consultant, yes, I have a little bit of tunnel vision because I'm really trying to step up my account on Association Marketplace. But yeah, that would be an excellent way for people to bring in new members and get them really kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Acclimated to the association culture and what's going on, and they could maybe connect with people. So, do you ever envision association marketplace having avatars where people interact with each other using a character
Ooh,
they've
interesting
designed?
question. Well, you can have your own profile avatar. I guess your profile image can be an avatar of sorts, but haven't gotten that far yet. We're focusing on just ways that people can feel really engaged and feeling like they're learning something, but also ways to just reach out and connect and get to know who's doing that and what are the top recommendations out there. That's really what we're focusing on. So in terms of avatars, not yet, but probably we'll look there and see if there's enough interest.
Yeah, that could be something fun because you could actually walk around in a virtual meeting room. I've seen people try to do that. I think that technology, my opinion, totally, is that that technology still has a long way to go, especially when you look at Zoom avatars and you mostly look like a stuffed animal. You don't really look like a version of yourself. Although they can be really funny if you're going to a meeting, and you show up as a rabbit or something. But I don't think we necessarily want that, right? So, but one other thing before we wrap up, I really encourage everybody to visit Association Marketplace because it is great. It's a lot of stuff. They're always adding things. Check it out. It's associationmarketplace.ai. But before we sign off, Sandra, you and Lucas have worked very hard for a number of years, getting input, designing this, testing it, launching it, and keeping it out there. But you often report on LinkedIn that you are part of incubator groups and other small business support groups that can help you bring a project like this to life. So, could you talk about that for a few minutes and tell us about that experience and how that has helped you do this, but also maybe some learning for associations out there that are listening?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yes, so our company Qiqo and is a part of or has been a part of some incubator programs and an accelerator program. One recently was an accelerator through our local county's economic development department, and we essentially were given a lot of support from a well-run, well-oiled accelerator program. They connected us to a lot of folks who have started and run businesses, and in particular tech businesses, and given us ways to go, hey, this is how you go to market. This is how you can gain traction. This is how you can, if you need legal assistance to run a business, especially a technology business, these are some tips that you can keep in mind. It runs a gamut, all parts of running a startup technology company and how you can really focus on product market fit, focus on getting traction, and making sure that you're focused, and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if not, you have the resources and the people to reach out to. And so that those being a part of those programs has definitely helped us as a company figure out how to design for the customers. We're not just building a product where we're like, oh, this is a great idea. We just want to do it and then put it out there and hope for the best. We actually, are very sensitive and aware of what are the customer needs. Who needs this kind of product? Why do associations need this product, and where are the trends? Members are really yearning for what's going on, what's the content, where is all the content. Everything is so disorganized in terms of it's yes, there's lots of content out there, but it's all over the place,
Mhm.
and the association itself has the ability to be the central hub and spoke for all the members that are involved, all the sponsors that are involved, and bring it all together. And so we really focused on where is the need, what's the problem in the market, and then how can we design the solution for that particular problem. So that's, I would say, where a lot of the incubators and the accelerator programs are great at in helping you kind of refine your process and network so that you're focused on delivering a great product or service out there.
Yeah, and that's great. And I wanted to bring that up. That may have been a bit of a surprise question for you, but I just think it's so interesting to learn about these things because not a lot of us know they exist. I
Mm,
was one of those people, my first consulting company, I just hung my shingle out and hoped for the best, and told everybody, well, I'm doing this now. But there's so many opportunities out there, and there are similar incubators and accelerator programs for nonprofit organizations who want to do a new program or project, but also a lot of nonprofit organizations offer accelerator programs. So that's another important aspect of what we do as nonprofits in society, and that helps move the whole country forward in a lot of ways. So I always like bringing these things up. Also, a lot of what you've done with Association Marketplace is a great example for nonprofits of all kinds, but especially associations who are trying to launch a new service or a new product or a new online community. Maybe they're tired of the same old, and they want something a little different, a little more vibrant, a little more interactive. We're all used to playing video games on our phone and our Kindles or whatever tablet we might use for that, and they're getting increasingly sophisticated. So I think
yeah.
while I love online communities where it's pretty much text driven, I think people might like a little change of pace. And so checking out something like Association Marketplace and specifically Association Marketplace is a great way to do that, kind of up your game for your members. And actually, saying the word game reminds me of gamification, Sandra. Do you think you're ever going to have gamification in Association Marketplace?
I would say we're 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 baking in some gamification, but I wouldn't. Maybe the word gamification doesn't resonate to me, but we are doing something to help ante up the game, if that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
So while we're not trying to like make things like, oh, you win all these points and then you can get, a $5 Starbucks card, we are creating ways where experts can kind of be elevated as they produce more insights, as the community is endorsing them. So we are trying to elevate folks and their voices and their prominence, if they're providing useful and positive and valuable information for the community. So in that sense, we are focusing on how we design the platform to produce quality information, but also elevate people and content in ways so that it helps make it easier for people to not only access it, but know who's producing this quality information, and then also incentivize those folks who are producing the content to continue to do so, right? You need content creators to be able to continue to produce, and in order for the industry to keep moving forward. So that's in that sense, we're incentivizing folks to contribute to the community and to the system. But and I guess that's the way that I see gamification being
Great.
expressed on the platform.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. And I'll be honest, I brought it up. I've never really had a clear understanding of gamification when it comes to stuff. I'll be honest. What else can I be? I do know though that rewarding people for participation is a good thing. Like at ASAE, the more active you are and collaborate, the more ribbons you get, or you get a higher level ribbon. So that's always nice. And at LinkedIn, you can become a recognized voice in some specialty. So I could see that ahead for you at Association Marketplace.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's a little bit like that dopamine effect. If you get a like on Instagram, or like 100 or 1,000 or a million likes, whatever, or followers on any of these platforms, that is a similar. I'm not saying that we're trying to make it so addictive or dopamine hit like,
Yeah.
but we're focusing on how do you receive validation for the work that you're putting forth out there for your community, right? How do you receive validation and that it's working? So that is where we're focusing on, incentivizing folks to feel like, oh yes, the things that you're producing are being looked at. We can see which articles are trending, who's looking at the different podcasts that are being produced or published, who's clicking on what essentially, so that the community can see. And then also from on behind the scenes, if you are, say, a company in the association marketplace, you can see on your own analytics who is clicking on the content, who is looking at the content that you're producing, who's reviewing your newsletters, who's listening to your podcast. So we are also trying to give somebody each company their own analytics and dashboard to see the stats, see what's trending, what's going on. And so again, it keeps them engaged, keeps them feeling like, oh, this is actually working.
Mhm. This well, and that actually that I completely understand. Driving people to participate more for improve their analytics and to get likes. And I guess I never think of that stuff as gamification, but I guess it is to a certain extent because you're getting people to participate, and that's what games are about. So I like that.
Uh,
But I'm from Missouri. I just call it as I see it. It's like we want you to participate. We'll give you a like if you show up. So I like that. That's great. And another thing I think that you've outlined really well for Association Marketplace is that not only is it a great place for associations to participate for their own interest that they're looking for, whether they're looking for content or they're looking for services, but it's also a great thing for them to explore to see what they might want to do for their organization. So that's another great, it's a great example if you're trying to build a different kind of community for your association members or your other nonprofit organization stakeholders. So I think it's a great example of that. So, Sandra, I want to thank you for coming back and talking with us more about Association Marketplace. As I said at the beginning of our conversation, I was one of the first people to learn about it and get to kind of test it out a little bit and give some input. And I've really seen a lot of changes in it. So it's a great offering. And what's really great is it's affordable. So if you have a tight budget, it's a great way to help get your name out there and share your content. So
yeah,
Sandra,
and
oh, go
one
ahead.
more I would like to add is that you just mentioned the affordability. It's all dependent based on the association and what they want to produce. And when I say produce, the marketplace, the association marketplace is designed to be a revenue generator for an association. And the association marketplace at associationmarketplace.ai is really just our way of giving back to the community and creating an open network so that folks can see the value of it. But if you were to take the marketplace and bring it to your own association and generate revenue by inviting your sponsors, by inviting the companies that make up your association ecosystem, this is a great way to extend that 2-day in-person expo hall and generate a lot of revenue, just as you would, paying another company to do all your publishing services. And so this is a way for for an association to generate revenue. You set the price, you build your relationships, and that's how it's new technology that's beyond the current rep buyer's guides. And that's what we're focusing on, is being able to provide not just only a business tool, but also a way to generate revenue for an association.
Well, and as you just said, it's a great way to extend the experience of any event, whether it's your exhibit hall or you want people to continue a conversation
Yeah.
after a learning event. I like it because we're all talking about that. It's not one and done anymore. It used to be, oh, you went to annual conference and you were finished, but it's not like that anymore.
Yeah. And also, just I would say the amount of work that it takes for both parties, for the association to create just a 2-day event. Yes, it's great and they should continue, but then they should continue year round too in some digital capacity. And for the industry partners and the vendors that are setting up shop at these expo halls, it's like they're thousands and thousands of dollars and it's all big marketing expense for them. And they want to continue to be present in front of an association's community, so give them another opportunity. And then it's a win-win because they get to do that online throughout the year, but then also the association can generate even more revenue. So I think that, it's just thinking smarter and, throughout the year rather than working harder for just 2 days out of the year.
Wow, that is a really great insight too, of how we can apply these kind of tools. So, Sandra, at, I always like to ask my guest, what is the one thought you would like the audience to take away today? And that was a really good thought. Uh, I know you have more good thoughts. What's the one thought you'd like the audience to take away today? And then how can they get in touch with you if they had questions or wanted to learn more?
Sure. I would say though maybe the closing thoughts are, think of association marketplace for, ways to generate revenue and engage members, new and current members. So those two things, you're engaging your members in your community and you're generating revenue. And we're all, everybody can use some more revenue. And if anybody wanted to reach out, I'm Sandra, Sandra, at QiqoChat.com. And you can also check out the Association Marketplace at associationmarketplace.ai.
Well, that was a great update on everything that's going on in the association marketplace. As a user, I anticipate it just getting bigger and full of more activity and more ways to interact with each other.
Thanks, Cecilia. And yeah, the party's open, so everyone come on in, check it out. It's an open platform. We would love to have more people check it out and give us feedback.
Yes, and please do. Again, I endorse what Sandra just said. Check out associationmarketplace.ai. Well, we have to go rogue for now, but we'll be back next time with another exciting episode. So again, if you haven't followed us or subscribed yet, please do. We're on all the major podcast platforms, so I'm sure we're on your favorite. We're in both video and audio formats, so you can access it the way you like. If you'd like to learn more about roguetulips.com and how we can help your organization bloom outside the box and think differently about the world around you, check out our website, roguetulips.com. Let's talk. Maybe we can work together. And if I'm not the right fit, I'll send you in the right direction. If you are looking for education for nonprofit management professionals, especially if you're preparing for the CAE exam, check out our education page. We have study groups, an online course, and we have our well-known ethics session every month. So you can learn about ethics, and it also qualifies for continuing education for the CAE renewal. So check out that flagship program of ours. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We're glad you were here. On behalf of Sandra and myself, we will see you next time.